Hello and welcome back to my channel. As you might have seen from my previous video, I'm going through a lot right now. So being on social media is one of the more difficult things for me lately because it really requires me to just put out my best self. So I figured for this video, I'm just going to be showing you guys what I've been working on the past few weeks to months, like outside of the whole art career journeys, which are, a thing of its own. I've still been working on my graphic novel, as well as some stuff for a new YouTube channel, which will one day be announced, but I am working on a VTuber. For that, if you've been following my Instagram stories, you know I'm trying to create my own VTuber. So that's gonna be its own thing that I'll share more in the future. But yeah, speaking of making a new YouTube channel and all of that though, I did want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Kittl. So as artists, we have a tendency to feel like we need to do everything by ourselves. That's where Kittl comes to play though, to help me take that load off of my plate. So Kittl is a design platform built for creators, whether you're an illustrator, content creator, or running an independent business. The interface is super intuitive and everything you need from textures, fonts, elements, everything is already built in. Personally, I love using Kittl for quick, high-quality branding assets. You're going to need a lot of different visual assets at some point that you're just gonna have to accept you can't do all on your own, and not everyone can just go out and start working with a graphic designer out of the blue. So my personal new visuals involve a lot of layered paper textures, plants, my new VTuber as you've just seen, and I can put these all together on Kittl with their built-in library and get exactly what I want in less time than it would have taken if I had to photograph all these crumpled pieces of papers or do all the lettering on my own. So if you want to streamline your creative workflow, you can use my code MEWTRIPLEDYT for 25% off for your first month or year off any paid plan. The link is down in the description below if you want to check it out. Otherwise, thank you to Kittl for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to it. I've really just been focusing on projects that have more immediate obligations, as well as just self-care habits. Why don't I show you guys what I've been doing on my graphic novel so far? So first off, I got this new Cintiq arm. It has been a game changer for working here at my desk, but some of you might have remembered my old pages that I originally pitched for my graphic novel that's inspired by my parents, their love story, rock and roll, 80s vibes. And we got some feedback back from some of the publishers to just, make some revisions for the art and trying out a style that is a bit different from my natural tendencies. But at the same time, it's not really this is unnatural to me. I do feel like black and white and more graphic styles are my thing. But I mean, here I kind of just went more all out with the details and just went I'm gonna be a full-on illustrator in this book, because I guess for me in the past, I'm very used to working in a very animation pipeline, so my style skews towards that way, but I really had to spend my time with this one. Each spread probably took 3 days maybe on average to finish, so it's 1.5 days per page depending on the level of detail that I was going on. So I don't know, this is just kind of what we're going with for now, and this is just 2 spreads that, I kind of did for the pitch. But in a way, it's kind of been therapeutic to just be able to color and ink. I think going for that ink style is something that I kind of miss working in. I did that a lot in the past, but I think with just animation and social media being a world where we need to pump shit out so quickly, it's just kind of took my ability to focus on details a bit more. So it's been nice to revisit that while working on my graphic novel. And now we're just waiting to hear back from some of the editors that are looking at it. So then next is the VTuber I've been working on. A lot of y'all have seen this in my stories at this point. So I'm kind of working with a rigger now to help rig it. I recently posted a story on Instagram to see if anyone would be willing to help, and I got some nice submissions, and I found one for the time being. So yeah, this is her. Her name is Mew. which is basically me. The only thing is her hair is going to be short. I'm planning to grow out my hair again because it just got to a point where I can't maintain this cut all the time. But, you know, at least my bob cut can live on through my animated self. So yeah, these are all the layers that I had to work in. I think a lot of people at first were just like, ooh, a VTuber is so much harder than a PNG tuber. But let me tell you this. The reason for me why a VTuber is ultimately a lot easier is because, sure, you will need to rig it and you're gonna have to like separate a lot of the parts, but having one illustration where I focus on just separating the parts is nowhere near as bad as the potential idea of creating like 50 drawings at a time to just represent like different emotions and then like having to time it out while I have my voiceover in the background. Whereas a VTuber, like, yes, you have that like tracking motion, which, you know, sometimes can come off a little bit like fake feeling, I guess, but at the same time, it's like people already know what they're watching is fictional, and I feel like people stopped caring about that really. So for me, efficiency really matters because yes, I do want this to be like my new baby, but at the same time, I need to focus on what parts I'm going to actually be drawing in and what parts that I won't be. So if you've seen my other video about hiring artists on Fiverr, I dive a little bit more into this. But for me personally, working with a VTuber and in collaboration with like riggers and other people in this world is easier than me just having to pump out more drawings, which is a lot of effort on my end. So that's just me. And for any of you who've seen my last video, you probably know by now that I am going through a pretty difficult time in life, which, yeah, it's been not easy to deal with, and I don't feel ready yet to still share it because it's still happening right now, if I had to be honest. But some of the things that it did kind of force me to get back into is, of course, like drawing for myself again, which is like, wow, did it really take like crazy shit to happen in my life to find my way back to art? Like, I don't know, a part of me was already like trying to get there before things started getting turbulent in my life. So here's my art career journey sketchbook from myself to me. This is an unused sketchbook from the South Korea trip that I just ultimately took upon using. And I've been kind of like, I'm just gonna keep this far because I don't really feel ready to like show it up close. But to just show like the level of turbulence I've been in, like this is the type of art I've been making, is just going back to like emo, Tumblr, 2014 Michelle self. For any of you who followed me when I was a kid or a teenager, I drew a lot more grungy, dark stuff, and a part of me thinks it's been beneficial for me right now to keep doing that. So yeah, I'm only gonna show a few pages because honestly it's super personal, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but here's another one. So yeah, but to balance that out though, just to keep this fair and square, I do have another sketchbook that I draw more positive things in, like the version of myself that I want to be. And I will also just keep this afar because for some reason that just makes me feel more comfortable right now. And, you know, I just want to draw the things that make me happy, like boxing, plants, reading, fitness, me being happy, me and my animals. So yeah, this is that sketchbook. I'll be real, I started this last year and I just never got back to it because I started it in pencil and I really don't like pencil. Like I did it because I was just like, I just can't afford any mistakes right now. If I draw and mess up, I'll get really angry at myself. But, you know, I probably will resume back to this eventually and just be like, whatever, I'm going back to pen, baby, or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a part of me that's just like, I already started it in pencil, so I gotta continue the rest in pencil, when no, I don't have to do that. But yeah, some of you might have seen that in my videos, that in my drawings, I've been drawing myself with like a tattoo sleeve, and I don't actually have that entirely on myself yet, but I've kind of just been experimenting with if that is something I would like on myself. And finally, I decided that yes, I want to get this tattoo. So I got the tattoo by the time this video is posted. So yeah, one of the important conversations that I did want to have, at least before I close out on this video, is to just talk about how just because you wanted to pursue art as a career and you eventually become an artist doesn't always mean you're going to be happy with all the decisions you make in that direction at the end of the day. I feel like for me, I really want to avoid at all costs going into a direction where I just become an art teacher or I just give like art advice and stuff, which is still somewhat similar to what I'm doing, but I feel like I'm not giving like art tutorial drawings or becoming like a storyboard teacher, which I will be real, I kind of explored that path for a bit, especially when I got out of my last animation job, because I think a lot of us, when we are severed from our jobs, we kind of are just like, well, I better like put some of my skills to use by transferring them to the next generation of people, which is good. If that's what you want to do, I think that's great. I think that there are people out there who were meant to be teachers. But for me, I've always just felt like not a teacher. I just feel like more like the big sister that you just watch and you just are like, well, Michelle did that and it seemed to work out for her, so why don't I consider trying that? I'm not saying that I want people to follow everything that I do in life, but I feel like what I want my art to do for people is to remind them to think like bigger, like you're more than just like the technical skills of your drawing or what types of jobs your art lands for you. And I think we're so like caught up in just being like, I need to work a full-time 9-to-5 job and just be at a studio, which by the way is great. I'm not even trying to diss that because I've reaped the benefits of that, so I get it. But at the end of the day, I do think we all get to a point where we're just comfortable in our positions in life, and then we question like, was this really what I wanted to do? Like for me, even when I've become like a director or a writer or whatever on shows and I publish my own book and whatnot, I'm still always trying to find the next thing I want to do with my own life as an artist, or like, what do I want to do? Like, what will benefit my life and lifestyle more so than what will just look good on a resume and just make me look good on paper, you know? So I would love to dive more into that type of honest review and authentic feedback in my career, because I do feel like I said in my last video, I've been in a more business approached world for reasons that, you know, one day I hope you will understand. But that's just what it is for now. And I'm hoping that eventually those business goals and those like passion goals eventually intertwine. And into some ways they are already and have been, and I am grateful for that. But I still feel like there's a big part of that missing in my career, where I don't really feel that genuine excitement or love to just work on my shit that I will just drop everything to just go work on it. So that's the little spark I'm looking for, and I think it's okay if it takes some time to find that spark, or if that spark is just not even as big as it once was and it's just a little like flame, like that's okay too. So that's just kind of where I'm at in life right now, and I am waiting for my sister now to come pick me up to get my tattoo. So I will go do that, and I will see you all in the next one.